Good morning. Morning, Coach.
Careful.
Hitch, when you get down to the wire of the final couple games of a regular season, and just with what's on the line, with what's coming up as well, just from a coaching standpoint, what's the energy like? What's the fun at the rink for you?
Well, I think you're more concerned about one thing, getting home ice. You can't pick who you're going to play, and there's so many scenarios out there, but man, home ice is important, and we want to get it. So we win tonight, we got home ice, and that's the focus for the players, that's the focus for us. The opponent really doesn't matter. We know Chicago because we just played them a few days ago, so there's no surprises there, but they're thinking the same thing. They want home ice too. You know, every advantage you can get in the playoffs is needed, and you know we would like to win tonight to secure that.
You talked about after the game on Sunday how exhausted these two teams were. Going into the game tonight, how do you what's your strategy, the coach, to have them bring the intensity that this is going to require, and yet try to not be completely exhausted going into the postseason?
I don't think you worry about the postseason. There's lots of time between when we finish playing on Saturday and when we play next week. I think you got to pour everything into these two games. I think both these teams recognize what today matters, how much it matters, and how important it is. But after you play, you got to move on quickly. And I think we've got a ton of time to rest. So anybody that can help us is going to play tonight. Anybody that can help us is going to play Saturday, and then we'll move from there. We're not in a position to rest people. We're in a position to try to secure home ice for us, which is important. And I think if you got to play guys extra minutes, I think if the game is the same as it was in Chicago, it's going to be really demanding of both teams. We've brought a guy like Porter in who's got speed and tenacity and fresh legs for us, so he's hopefully going to help us. But that's the whole focus, is pour everything into this game, and then you can rest in between.
What has Steve Ott meant to you guys this season?
Well, the player that we've gotten the last month is the player we expected. So his focus, his intensity, his commitment to doing what he needs to do is really he's really been engaged the last month. He's helped us in a lot of areas, so we can move him in out different lines. He helps whoever he plays with. Tonight he's going to play with Laterra. We expect him to be the real worker bee on that line, real tenacity, and hopefully give Yori and Rats some space and time to make plays. But he's the player we've gotten the last month is the guy we expected, and it's a good sign for us.
Is he able to communicate? I mean, is he just a good communicator for those guys and kind of help them through this time of year?
No, I think he just draws you into the fight. He plays with such a big edge. He draws you into the fight, and when he plays with the sincere edge that he's playing with right now, it's a good sign.
With as much parity as there is in this league, does it kind of feel like the playoffs have an extra month to them with the intensity of the last month and a half?
Oh man, it feels like we've been in this thing since January 1. It really does. There's times you just get tired of looking at the schedule. You get tired of looking at the standings. You're just looking forward to a day off of not watching hockey, and then you can't help yourself. You got to go back and check scores and everything. So we've been doing this for 3 months now, and that's what it feels like. If you talk to other coaches, it's exactly the same. There's no getaway time, and the minute you get away, then you feel like you get like a couple of those teams that are in the East. You get trapped. You get on a losing streak the wrong way, and then all of a sudden things happen. You can be caught and things like that. So I think it's way more stressful to be in the situation now, because to me there's a whole different feeling. Once we secured a playoff spot, there's a whole different feeling. All it is the pressure of playing hockey, and that's going to be the same in the playoffs. We can all handle that, but man, the stress of looking over your shoulder, the stress of watching so many other teams. Now your focus is on one opponent, and it's so much more refreshing and easier for us, if you can call playoff hockey easier. But the stress from January 1 on, because of the division we play in, because if you look at this division, there's a real chance 5 are going to get in. Shows you how tough it is. And there's the 2 that were out are the 2 that were in last year, and they're as good as us, and they just had bad starts to their year. But that just shows you how tough this division is, and looks like it's not going to go away for a few years.
How different a team are they without Patrick Kane?
A lot.
In what ways?
Every way. Easy easy to play when your focus is on fewer players. You know, they got so many good players, but you know, you can't check everybody. And you know, one of the things that Chicago has is a sense of timing. They've gotten cups and wins and playoff round wins because their key guys have done it when it's being on the line. So anytime you can not have a key guy that's playing that's done it when it's on the line, it's good for the opposition. So, you know, whether it's Kane, Taves, Hossa, Sharp, Keith, doesn't matter. When you're missing guys that know how to perform and when it's on the line, it's good for the opposition.
Refreshing to see Tarasenko and Steen and Bortuzzo on the ice.
They've been skating out of the limelight of the media for a little while now, so it's nothing new. They just happened to join us today, this was the skate, and rather than go on early, which they've done very early in the morning, they came and joined us.
After working with him for a full season, how do you feel Jim Corsi has helped this organization when it comes to goaltending?
Well, he drives us nuts, so that part is a given. I think he has an educational calmness about him that helps the goalies. So he's always looking at things from a long-term perspective. He does not get wrapped up in the day-to-day performance of the goaltender. He has set goals for each guy on a monthly basis, and he never loses sight of those goals, and he keeps them focused in that area. And I think that's what the good coaches do. They never lose sight of the journey, and that's what he does. So he's able to keep these guys on task. You know, we get wrapped up in the daily occurrence of what goes on in a competition, but he doesn't do that stuff. He moves it on very quickly. He deals with it, but he never loses sight of the skill development that he wants to see on a month-to-month basis. And he's had so much experience with top goalies, you know, with Hasek, with Ryan Miller, and guys like that. He knows how their development took place, so he's got that ability in the coaching fraternity to look around corners. So he knows kind of on a year projection where a guy's going to get to if he works on certain things, and that's what he's able to do. He never, you know, he has a schedule that he adheres to with each guy, and they follow it.
Based on that, are Brian and Jake about where he thought that they would be at this point after?
Yeah, well, I think he feels like both guys a month ago were ahead of the curve where their development was, but I think they're on curve now. So I think he feels like they were both probably a little bit ahead. He knew what things they had to work on and what needed to get better to become elite goalies, but he looks at that from a long-term perspective where we would like it to change like tomorrow. But he sees it as, if we keep working in this direction, this is where it's going to end up, and he's got a lot of confidence because he's done it with other guys who are top guys.
Thank you, sir.